Hello, friends. So today is day 5 after my fast. And it's been a bit challenging. Uh, I feel better now than I have. The last week or so was really, really hard. Um, and I think that there's just a reality. So I got these anti nausea medicine I put under my tongue. I haven't used one for 2 days. And for some reason, the moment I went live, all of a sudden my mouth started watering and I started feeling nauseous. The joy of recovery. Um, so, you know, it was a struggle to jump on and share my story, day 35 through 40. Those are probably the most vulnerable things I've ever shared and posted online publicly. Um, but I just kept thinking, you know, I wish I could see somebody else's story. There's not a lot of people that on a 40-day fast. Now, I had heard that there was something called refeeding syndrome, which I don't have. Uh, so I guess good news up front. I've had all my blood work done, and all my markers are normal to excellent. So I'm in wonderful health, and that is a great, great, great joy. But I did have to go to the ER a couple of days ago, so I'll talk a bit about my struggle in coming off of the fast. I always had this thought: a 40-day water fast, I probably have to take, a week, maybe 2.5 weeks. They say maybe up to 20 days to like refeed. And I was fantasizing about eggs. I don't know what it is about eggs. I just want eggs so bad. I haven't had anything physical yet. Um, but I have my doctor, and so I build a protocol, and my wife and I agree upon kind of what I'm doing. And so day 40 ends. It's Friday night. It's 9 p.m. I've completed 960 hours of nothing but water. And I have to say, it was kind of like finishing, I guess, like an Ironman or some sort of crazy endurance thing. Like my adrenaline got me to the end, right? And then I got to the end, and it's a weekend. So the pressure's kind of off. I don't have to like wake up the next morning and still to speak to global teams and do all the things that I have to do on a regular basis. And I'm not trying to finish some big achievement. Now I'm just like in heal mode. So Friday night I have a little bit of bone broth, very, very little. And then Saturday I'm having bone broth, and we go to my parents' house and hang out with them all day. And I would, probably shouldn't have been moving around so much. I get home Saturday night. Now it's been 24 hours, and I got real nauseous. My mouth starts watering, just like what happened like 2 minutes ago, which is so crazy. That's the first time it's happened in 2.5 days. And I'm like, oh, I, I'm gonna puke. So I did. And when I started the water fast, I was drinking like a gallon and a half of water and having teaspoons, yeah, little 4 teaspoons of fasting salt every day. By the end of my fast, I could feel myself getting dehydrated because my stomach had gotten so small. I've lost over 60 pounds. My beard makes me look like I'm still a big, big man, but my clothes say something different. So this beard's coming off in no time. I'm actually quite looking forward to having a clean face. It's been a while. And so I I think to myself, I'm getting dehydrated. I can feel it. Like by the end of my fast, I was doing like only a quart of water and maybe a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon of fasting salts. And the fasting salts I recommend are Redmond, Redmond, Redmond salt from Utah. There's a reason for it. You can research it yourself. So I can feel myself getting dehydrated. Now it's 24 hours after my 40-day fast. All I've had is like maybe a cup of bone broth and I just puked. And so, I'm not one that's prone to anxiety. If you know me very well, I'm not much of an anxious or stressed out person. I'm a pretty chill Santa Cruz dude. And that was a little anxiety producing. And my wife looks at me and she's like, "Shouldn't we like maybe go to the hospital? Shouldn't you maybe call your doctor?" I'm like, "Well, it's 11. It was probably a fluke. It's not a big deal. Like, we went all over the place. Like, I'll be fine. Tomorrow I'll be fine." So I wake up Sunday and I'm like, "Hey boys, I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to take you. I'm not going to go to your football game, son." I'm like, "I'm staying on the beanbag. I'm just going to chill." You ever felt so bad that you didn't want to watch TV? You ever felt so bad that just the thought of grabbing your phone and looking at social media feels like too much to do? Or maybe you felt so bad that like you don't even want to play a game on your iPad. Like you don't even want music on. Like when you just basically want to just sit in silence, let the time go by. That was my Sunday. I did not feel good. And I just kept thinking, well, this is part of the process. Like I just traumatized my body a little bit. Now at this point, I didn't have no blood work done. I hadn't talked to my doctor. I had my appointment coming up. So, you can get in your head a little bit. My wife's so supportive. My kids are so supportive, and everything's sensitive. Like, oh, just hug me from over there. Yeah, I'm a little sensitive over here. Um, I can't say I expected this experience. I can't say that this was anticipated by me. I had done 12, bunch of tens, bunch of sevens, bunch of fives. And the 12 fast was the only time I transitioned on like soup for a few days. Every other fast, I just went right into basically eating normal ish, healthy, but normal ish. So here I am on Sunday, the end of my second day off of my fast. And it happens again. My mouth starts watering. And I just remember thinking, "Oh, no, 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 no. If I puke again, then it's a big deal. If I puke again, for sure I'll be dehydrated. I can barely get myself to drink bone broth." No, at that point, I switched to, we got a watermelon. We ground up a watermelon, and my wife pureed it, and then she strained it, and then she mixed like a quarter cup of watermelon juice with like a cup of water. And then maybe I did that twice. Like I barely had anything. I wasn't okay. So now I'm thinking, if I puke again, like that's a real big deal. Then I probably can't just wait. So I remember I'm in the bathroom and I got my hands against the wall, and the porcelain throne is below me at my knees. And I'm up there and I'm looking down, and I did something I very rarely do. I begged God for help. Now my prayer life is more like, I love you, I'm thankful, I'm content. How can I serve my wife or my kids or my parents? Give me wisdom in business, help me have integrity. Uh, like my conversation with the unseen, unknown, mysterious creator of all things is not usually focused on, "Oh, God, please help me." That's just not my jam. I haven't really felt that way very often. Uh, but boy, oh boy, did I feel that way on Sunday night. Like I was begging for mercy. Like, "God, please, 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 please don't let me puke right now. Please keep it in." Like, and I held it together. And I just remember thinking, like, okay, 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 we just got to keep the fluids in. I'm trying to sip a little water. Hour or so later, put the kids to bed, jump in the shower. Most of my showers have been sitting down. I basically sit down in the bathtub, let the shower just rush over me because I just don't feel like standing. Okay. I mean, this is a healing process, everybody. Again, I don't recommend any human ever does a 40-day fast. It was something that I specifically felt called to and had grace for. And I'm so glad I did it. So, so, so glad. And I'll tell you some wonderful things in just a moment. But I think the story of my suffering post fast is probably pretty interesting. And I think some people will find it fascinating. And I think other people will find it to be important if they choose to do something of an extended fast, even a week or two, just to be thoughtful of the stuff. So there I am in the shower, and I got to get up, and all of a sudden, mouth waters again, and I start begging for mercy. Oh God, no, no, no. No, just please don't let me puke. Like, because if I puke, then it sets it in motion. I know for sure I'll be even more dehydrated. Like, then I have to go to the ER. And then my wife comes up and she rubs my back. She's like, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. It's all right. You're going to be okay. You made it through last time." And then boom, it wasn't a lot. I mean, I don't really have a lot in my body, right? But it's like, man, last night, there goes the bone broth. Today, here goes the watermelon juice. I So I get in bed and my wife says, "Let's just go to the ER right now." Like, listen, the boys are in bed. It's going to make them scared. It's 11 on a Sunday. Lots of people are probably at the ER right now. Let me see if I can sleep for a minute. And let me try to take another sip of water in an hour or two. The moment, if it happens again, I'll go in. And if it doesn't happen, I'll just go to urgent care because there's like a hospital for super emergencies before 8 a.m. And then there's like an urgent care that would maybe be a little easier of a process at 8 a.m. Something like if I can just hold on till 8 a.m. because my doctor appointment with my family doctor wasn't for Monday. So 4 a.m. rolls around. I wake up, kind of toss and turn. My stomach hurts. Take a little sip of water. Wake up, and I get up, and it happens again. And it wasn't a lot. It was just the water. But like that's it. So I call the hospital, make sure I can come in, and wake up my oldest son. Hey, we're gonna go to the doctor really quick. Dad's dehydrated. I'll be right back. Obviously, I'm not telling my children like I'm going through all this trauma. I'm just trying to keep it chill. I'm trying to maintain confidence as men do, whether we should or not. Trying to maintain confidence with those that I lead. Trying to establish that I'm okay. I'm just going to go take care of something right now. So tell my oldest, uh, Riza will be back in about an hour. She's going to take me to the emergency room, uh, or just the doctor, I said, and then I'm going to ask them to get me an IV because I'm feeling dehydrated. I'm just going to ask for a saline IV, which obviously you don't get to just go into a ER and be like, "Hey, saline IV." Like that's not actually how it works. They're going to check you out and make sure everything's okay. So we get in there about 5. I get registered, um, and I sit down. Riza hangs out for a minute. Then my wife leaves to go make the 3 boys breakfast and take the 3 of them to school. They all go to different schools, and so every morning I wake up and I take my boys to 3 different schools with her. It's a little family event, which we actually quite enjoy. And I'm in the hospital waiting room by myself, and I remember talking to the nurse. Right now, at this point, I'm really not feeling well. I've already puked that morning at 4, the night before at 11, and the night before. And like I know I'm dehydrated for sure, and I don't even want to drink water. And the nurse, he goes, "Wait, what did you do?" I'm like, "Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but I didn't have anything except for electrolytes and water for 40 days." And he's looking at me. He's like, "For 4 days?" I said, "No, for 40 days. I lost 60 pounds. I lost 25 kilograms." He's like, "Are you sick, bro? You did this for health?" I'm like, "No, it was like this fascination of my whole life. I just always wanted to do a 40-day fast, but I was fat. So I figured now's the time. I mean, I got the energy to burn." He's like, 60 pounds is a lot of weight to lose that fast, man. But wow, that's amazing. And so he's fascinated. So he's probably all these questions. Then I'm talking, which kind of makes me like, oh boy. So I sit down. And again, like I got my iPad with me and my phone, right? And I look at my iPad and I think, I got every OTC channel in the world. I got my AirPod Pros. I can watch anything I want, but I don't want to. I don't want to do anything, And then I got my phone. I can. There's a million things I can do on my phone, but just the desire is gone when you're in that type of state. So I'm just kind of sitting there. I look at my water. I haven't had water for an hour and a half. It's about 5:30 in the morning. I grab a little sip of water. 10 minutes. I can feel it. Water's not going to stay. Like, that's it. I have to go use the restroom. Go in the restroom, say goodbye to the water. And I remember being in the hospital bathroom and experiencing that. And I thinking to myself, man, what if I didn't have a wife? What if I was a single guy? What if I was alone? would I really have come to the emergency room? Would I really have done what I should have done and come, or would I have just made excuses like, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be okay, I'll wait for this, I'll wait for that. And I just started recognizing like the significance of like having a wife to encourage me to make wise decisions, having a wife that counts on me, having children that count on me, having parents that count on me, having businesses and partners that count on me, and all the infrastructure of my life that make me who I am, that encouraged me to make a good decision and motivated me not to just isolate myself away from seeking intervention. Because there I am, like in the bathroom, and I'm thinking, I did not expect that on the morning of day 43, right? This is 2.5 days ago. I did not expect on the morning of day 43, I am going to be like this. Like for some reason, I just thought, no big deal. I'm just going to do what my doctor says. I'm going to drink a quart or two of bone broth every day. Then I'll add some grass-fed healthy butter. Then I'll add some ghee, and then we'll start adding some other elements, and then eventually I'll get myself some eggs. Those eggs that I deeply desire, And it's like, yeah, I got my plan. And this part was not my plan. I did not have this as my plan. This was not my plan to be sick. Sit back down, and I just think, okay, the IV's coming. I know they'll give me an IV. I know that's what I need. So finally, they roll me up. A couple doctors come talk to me, and the doctors cannot believe I did not have anything but water for 40 days. They said, both doctors said, I've never met a single person that's done a 40-day fast. Like, I don't even know anybody that's done a 40-day fast. I didn't even know you could really even do a 40-day fast. I'm like, I know, I've been studying it for a long time. It's been kind of like this thing I've wanted to do. And they're like, are you sick? Did you do this because you have cancer? Did you do this because you like are trying to get over something? I'm like, no. I mean, I was heavy and I was really unhappy that I had let myself get heavy, and I'm in the gym. I'm trying to eat healthy and weight's not coming off. So obviously this worked. Get myself into deep, deep ketosis and burning all that fat as energy. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to do a blood test before we give you an IV, but obviously you need hydration, and then we'll get you this stuff for nausea, which is funny because I haven't taken one of those for almost 2 days. But right when I started this live stream, the moment I started, my mouth started watering and I started feeling nauseous. It was so weird. I mean, just the pressure of going live. Thank you, everybody, for all that pressure you making me feel. Um, so they transitioned me to the nurse, put me back in the room, and my wife drops off her 3 boys. She's heading back. Boom, they come in with 2,000 milliliters of medical grade saline. Mm-mm-mm. I gotta say, when they put the saline in my veins, the difference of how I felt after I got the first 500 milliliters was kind of like my world went from black and white to color. There's no other way for me to describe it. It was like I went from shriveling like a raisin to back to being a grape. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's how I felt. Um, and it saved me. I can't imagine like another option. I don't know what else I could have done. I had got myself in a bad dehydration. So while they're pumping me full of saline here, they're taking 5 vials of blood over here. Now, I had already ordered a 7 vial blood test. My doctor and we do blood tests every couple of years for me just to track all of my uh, body. How am I doing? How's my health? Sometimes I'm overweight, sometimes I'm leaner, but regardless of the weight thing, I always want to make sure I'm healthy. I'm trying to work out and still eat healthy, and so that's the plan. So now they take 5 vials, and it's funny. They got fluid coming in and fluid coming out, and there's a little part of me that's like, oh man, please, please, please be good results. Please be good results. So the doctor comes in, and then 3 other nurses came in, and another doctor came in because they were so fascinated by the blood results. And basically, after the 5 vials and testing, I don't know, call it 3, 4 dozen metrics, everything was normal. Everything was in the normal window. Some things were excellent. And there's a couple things like potassium that were on the low end of the normal side, which is means we have to be thoughtful of that. But the doctors just couldn't believe it. They're like, I just can't believe that you literally had nothing but water and electrolytes for 40 days. You come in totally dehydrated in a crisis. We give you the fluids, and then when we take your blood markers are all normal and excellent. And so I make this joke like, "Are you going to go and start prescribing water fasting to your clients?" And they start laughing. Um, then they gave me the uh, nausea medicine, and then they gave me these pills that dissolve in your mouth if you have an emergency mouth watering situation when you start a live stream. Wacky. Such a good thing I had that in my pocket. And um, went home, felt like a new man. This is Monday morning. And I still have work to do. So it's like I still have to run my companies. I still have to be responsive to my everybody that I work with. Um, and so now I'm like, okay, now I'm not like falling apart, but now I'm like, I'm done with bone broth. I'm just going like a quarter coconut juice with a cup of water, a quarter watermelon juice, with a cup of water. And that's basically what I did for a couple of days. I finally transitioned to bone broth now. Um, and I think now I'm on track. I haven't had any nauseous episodes since when I started this live stream, which is wild to me. And and that may have just been in my head too. And now I feel fully hydrated. That saline basically rehydrated me, and I'm good. It's still challenging though. I will say, like, it's still a challenging thing. Like, what a wild thing to not choose to consume any calories. And even now on day 5 after my fast, I mean, I probably haven't consumed 1,000 calories in the last 5 days. So I basically am on day 45 of a fast. It's just I'm like so slowly adding different things. Now, I imagine tomorrow I'll probably get into the rhythm. I'll probably get a couple hundred, maybe a few hundred calories in my body through the bone broth and other things. And so I'll get things going at this point. But it is a unexpected thing. And I just keep thinking about a couple things. And this is my takeaways from this experience. Number one, I keep thinking about athletes that push themselves to the brink where their body won't make it to the finish line, but they get there anyway. Hence, I finished my 40-day fast. But then they suffer. They're in the hospital. They're in the doctor. They have broken things. They have torn things. They have all sorts of stuff that now they have to deal with all this trauma because what they put their body through for this achievement, and recognizing I put my stomach, my organs, my things. Now my blood work looks great, but still my digestive system has to kind of be reboot. That's the first thing. The second thing is I don't know why, but there was something about the suffering that I experienced at the end of day 42 and the beginning of day 43 when I was in my bathroom begging God not to let me puke, and I didn't. And then again begging, but then it happened after taking a shower, or the next morning it happening again, or happy, and then going to the hospital. There was something about those 8 hours, 9, 10 hours of immense emotional and physical suffering. And I don't know what it is, but I am glad I experienced it. Maybe if I had to use an analogy, there's like this thing about juicing, right? Like you can blend juices, or there's like this special juicer that presses like the last 2% out. And they say that last like 2 or 3% of the juice that gets pressed, like that's the most important part of the juice. I think there was more suffering in my journey. I think there was more suffering that was going to be pressed out of this journey. And it was in that moment at the end of day 42 and the beginning of day 43. It was that moment of suffering that was part of why I did the 40-day fast in the first place. It was to experience, it was to choose suffering. It was to choose trial. It was to choose hardship. It was to choose to be pressed and and pushed and to see how far I could actually go. Not that I wanted to be dehydrated or go to the hospital, but if that was the path by which I experienced the end of the suffering of this occasion, I found the good in it. And that was a big takeaway for me. So I know there's different types of people that have watched this journey with me. Uh, some of you work with me in one of my companies. Uh, some of you are clients. Some of you are employees, partners. Um, many of you are friends. Many of you are friends that actually we haven't connected on a text or a face to face or a hug for months, if not years, maybe even before the pandemic. But I see your comments and I see your engagement, and it's been cool that this can be something that like re-engages me with my network. Um, but the reality is, a lot of why I'm sharing my story is for the lady that's watching this in 9 months, the guy that's watching this in 5 years, and you're about to embark on your journey of a 36-hour, 72-hour, 7-day water only fast. And you're looking for someone to tell their story of what they experienced. And I just wanted to be somebody that was willing to open up my life and say, here's my experience. Here's what I've gone through. Here is the grace and the joy and the victory and the celebration. And here's the pain and the suffering and the hardship and the hurdles. And here is my experience. And that is why I've jumped on. If I feel up to it, I'll probably continue to tell my story over the next couple of weeks because I think there's something unique about the refeeding process. Hopefully, I'll stop doing it standing outside my balcony, although it's nice to hear the Pacific Ocean behind me. But I'll do it back on the one wheel, which is always fun. I like to take my friends on one wheel rides on the internet. So do something like that. But I hope that for those that watch this, that it's been encouraging to you, or intriguing to you, or entertaining to you, or educational to you, or whatever it is to you. Good. I'm glad it was something. And until next time, peace.